I took these from an old book of mine, a bit advanced, but hopefully you can still follow it. So you're being employed by my boss. Do it yourself. What's the new doer? What's the new do? What has to go in place of the do? And then how do you change eingestellt? And then how do you turn do into the accusative? So, von meinem Chef, the von of course goes away. Meinem Chef has to change the original form of meinem Chef is mein Chef. Now, he is employing me. Employing, if you're a total beginner, forgive this advanced example, but just take it, don't worry about it. Einstellen, we separate. Stellt ein. Again, not important if you don't understand this yet. As long as you see it changes and it loses the GE because now it's the present form. And the do turns into, it should be a dich. Yeah? Partish also had a mich. Interesting, right? You all had mich. That's interesting. You are being employed by my boss, so the you turns into dich. I made the mistake. That's unforgivable. No, actually, but yours is forgivable. Yeah? Mein Chef stellt dich ein. You get the point now. Last one. Fisch wird von niemandem gekocht. Fish is being cooked by nobody. Thank you, friend. Good correction. Eingestellt is separable indeed. So, von niemandem, we can turn into niemand. It loses the em ending because no dative anymore. The verb is pretty simple. Even if this is your first lesson, you might be able to get it 90% right. Lose the GE. And that's basically it. Niemand kocht. And now how do you turn fish into the accusative? Very simple, because fish doesn't have an article here. So you just take fish. If it had an article, it would be einen oder den Fisch indeed. Niemand kocht Fisch. Yeah? And again, this is what you learn here is basically it's covering A1 to B1 level easily. It even covers most of B2. There is a couple of details that I explained in the B2 course. There is something that's called passive replacement. I will add this to another version of this, but for now you don't need this. Yeah, for beginners this is useful, and if you're advanced, this is a nice refresher. Just one more example, because people always need reminders of worden versus geworden. Do you remember my explanation from 10 minutes ago? Schon, almost. GE is not necessarily like ED, because in English, in German, we have T at the end, which is basically the ED ending. ET or T, depending on the stem of the word. So GE is something that doesn't really exist in English. Auxiliary. If you are an English native speaker, you must know this word maybe out of the technical field or military field. Yeah, it simply means help, helper. Auxiliary power means kind of emergency power or something additional power. Yeah, something that jumps in when the original power doesn't work. Das Auto ist von mir repariert worden. So, worden here, which basically is werden, is only an auxiliary verb. And that means, and that's the translation, the main verb here is reparieren, yeah, to repair. And that means it has absolutely no meaning. You cannot translate it with a meaningful word in English. Yeah? The English use has been, but worden doesn't really mean has been. I know it's a bit tricky to get your head around this. Except the other way around, William. Hi from Zurich. Petya, we will share the recording later. Main verb. Das Auto ist Vater geworden. Well, it's pretty rare, but if you know the movies in English, they are like Herbie's Great Race or something like this. And in German, we have Dudu. Dudu is some African word for bug. Yeah. And then you can see that that cars can also become fathers. So it's the main verb here, werden, geworden in its past form, has a meaning. It can actually be translated into English as to become. The good news or the bad news? Actually, it's a good news. This is so rare. It's in 1% of the cases become, werden is actually translatable into to become. You couldn't translate the first sentence on the top of the screen. Das Auto ist von mir repariert worden. You couldn't say the car is becoming repaired by me. That doesn't really work. Maybe philosophically, but grammatically auf keinen Fall. Yeah, in no case. So if werden is the only verb, the main verb, then its past form is like you would expect with GE, General Electrics. Yeah, it's getting electrified. If it's just an auxiliary, a helper, it's dispensable in a way, then it doesn't get the GE. It just silently adds itself to the end. Yeah. So one thing to remember, you will never see geworden with the second past participle, past word. So you couldn't say, or we'll never see, das Auto ist repariert geworden oder das Auto ist gestohlen geworden. You never have g. You might find an example, but that's 1 in 1,000. And I'm pretty sure you won't. Yeah. And that example, I can also explain to you why it then is okay. Yeah, William just actually skipped the GE. Yeah, then it's correct, William. Sorry, I didn't read that. That was it. I hope you got something from this and something stuck. It's a little teaser. Yeah, the main work has to be done in my course or your course, wherever you're working. It's fine. And I hope you, are wiser than before and not more confused. I'm happy to answer any question that you might still have. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a back pain. So let me know. Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. No, you get a replay link, but it will not be valid for too long. Good. So there was the question, Maureen, I can actually look it up, it's easy. Yeah. There's a couple of beautiful false examples which I couldn't see on my phone. Let me actually turn off that thing. There. I will have the car repaired. I will have the car repaired. So let me do this with the comments. You have to read the chat if you can. Shiva, yes, you always get a replay. You just need to check your email or your spam folder within the next 24 hours. Might be tomorrow evening. So I will have is the future. So ich werde I will have the car repaired. Ich werde mein Auto, that's actually interesting, reparieren, that's B2 stuff as well. I would translate it like this. Ich werde mein Auto reparieren lassen. I will let my car be repaired. And this is not the passive. A passive form of the future would be mein Auto wird repariert werden. My car will be repaired. But if you add I will have, that's a very specific English structure, which in German you can only express with the help of lassen, which often means to let. Ja, ich lasse mir die Haare schneiden. I'm letting my hair cut. basically I'm getting my hair cut, but I let someone else do it, ideally. Yeah. So these are highly specific B2 or C1 things, which are lovely, and I might actually do an advanced class at one point. Why not? Yeah. If there's only 10 people watching, it's enough. Okay. So there's a lot you can actually dig into in the German grammar. What I've shown you today was really just a lovely short overview, and all these topics are spread out over a couple of weeks in my course, because if you do everything at once, the information is so similar that you might actually get confused in the end. And that is if a course is not well thought through, or if a teacher is not really structured and doesn't know what to do, then confusion arises. Yeah, and that doesn't mean the teacher cannot make mistakes. That's fine. I'm happy to make mistakes, but it's all about organization. And usually that's common scientific knowledge, and that you do not put similar information together. You do not study English, French, and Spanish, and then math, physics, and chemistry. You really do like English, math, French, physics, Spanish, chemistry. So you always have a break between similar topics. Yeah, even though physics and chemistry might be distinct enough. Good. Is there anything in this regard that you need to know? You can also ask other questions. I'm happy to sit here for another 10-15 minutes. And if not, it's fine. We have a Q&A every Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I do one next week, if you're not a too Christmassy type, or it's even before Christmas. And the next masterclass will be New Year's Eve at 6. I'm not sure whether I actually do this. There will be no bang bang here, so I'm not partying as I did 30 years ago, but I'm not sure whether I should do it at that day. I will see. Let me know if you're around. If there's sufficient people here, I'm happy to sit here with you for a bit. Yeah, it's also nice to say goodbye to the year together. Good. No questions? Then I can only thank you for your attention and your time. I always learn a lot doing these masterclasses. It's always good to refresh my knowledge and simplify it. Thanks, Melissa. Nice seeing you again. And hope you have a couple of lovely and healthy days. Yeah, it's difficult times, so may this year come to an end, and with it, all the struggles. Have a lovely day and evening, and see you around at one point. Yeah? Take care. If you are not working with my course yet, let me see. 35%. You can preview the first lesson. You just go to smartergerman.com and then pick A1 to B1 course or whatever level you are, and then you would see a big button that says try free first lesson. It's totally worth your time. Yeah, and there you can reach out to me via the comments as well. Okay. Any feedback is welcome, and I hope you stay healthy. Bis bald.